Okay, here we go. 9-1, markup based on cost. So if you take a look, the very first formula, nice and big for you there, cost plus markup equals selling price. Formula we need to remember. You can also rewrite it so that it has markup in the beginning or cost in the beginning. All three of these formulas will be used today, just rearranged. So let's try the first one. Example 1. What is the selling price of a media charging station if the cost is $28.35 and the markup is $5.64? If you look up here, here's your formula for selling price. It says selling price equals cost plus markup. So when we write it, I'm just going to use the letters. Selling price equals cost plus markup. And then you just plug in. So what is our cost? $28.35. What is our markup? $5.64. So selling price is $33.99. Just adding the cost and the markup. Now this question says he buys the mug for $2.45 and sells them for $5.88. What is the markup this time? We go up to this formula this time. Markup equals selling price minus cost. Markup equals selling price minus cost. So now we just plug in again. What is our selling price? It says he sells them for $5.88 and he buys them, which is your cost, at $2.45. So what is he marking them up? $3.43. And then the other formula will be shown here. It says we're selling a 2-liter Coke at $1.29. The markup is 35 cents. What is the cost? We scroll back up. That's the very last formula right here. Cost is selling price minus markup. Cost is selling price minus markup. The cost, we just plug in. Selling price, it says, is selling them for $1.29, and the markup is 35 cents. So what is the actual cost for the company to buy these? 94 cents. Okay, now what I want you to do is when you hit pause on this video, so go ahead and hit pause and then click the stop and check. Try them all, submit them. When you are done with the stop and check, come back to this video and resume. Okay, moving on. When markup is based on the cost is the base in the basic percentage formula. So here is this formula again. We said PBR, PRB is the same thing. So the situation, it says, what if a retailer can buy a shirt at $10? The retailer will add $5 to the cost. They then sell it for $15. What do we know? Rate of cost always equals 100%. MU and C values, markup and cost values is what that says. What are we looking for? Rate of markup and the rate of selling price. Solution plan, rate of markup equals markup divided by cost. Carry out the operation. So let's do an example to explain this all. So we've got Duke's Photography. He's paying $9 for a 5x7. If he sells it for $15, what is the percent of markup based on cost? Round to the nearest tenth of percent. So formula. First of all, you have to know the markup to find the percent of markup based on cost. So we go back to the beginning where our formula was given, where it says markup equals sell price minus cost. Well, what is he selling them for? 15. What was the cost? 9, if you want to label them so you know. So what is his markup? He's marking these up $6. Now we can use the formula. To find the markup percent, you take the markup over the cost times 100%. So what would that mean in this case? We just found the markup to be $6. Over our cost, $9 times 100%. Put that in your calculator, 6 over 9 times 100. If you just did 6 over 9, how do you convert it to a percent? You just move it 2 places to the right. So you technically do not have to multiply by 100, but this does it all in one step for you, and it will spit out a decimal. They're telling us round to the nearest tenth, so 66.7%. That's the markup based on cost. That's what we just found there, markup based on cost. Another example, we have a boutique who pays $68 for a pair of earrings. They sell them for an 80% markup rate based on cost. This time I want you to find the selling price of the earrings. What are they selling this earring for? Well, to find the selling price, we know the selling price formula is cost plus markup. We did that up above. What do we know in that formula right now? We know the cost. These earrings cost us $68. What don't we know? The markup. But what we do know is that it was marked up 80%. Well, what does that do for us? Another formula here. To find the markup, we take the markup percent times the cost. So what is our markup percent? Right here, markup percent is 80% times the cost. Do we ever, let's plug 68 in for cost too. Do we ever leave things as a percent? No. So 80% becomes 0.8. And what is 0.8 times 68? 5440. I now can take that over to my formula, 5440, and I can find my selling price of $122.40. Next example. A DVD movie was marked up, so here's our M, $6.50, which was 40% markup based on cost. What was the cost of the DVD? What was the selling price? So we don't know two things right now. We don't know the selling price or the cost. We need to know the formulas for each. To find the selling price, right above, it's cost plus markup. What do we know about that so far? We know the markup was $6.50. We don't know cost, so I'm stuck there for now. I can't do any more. So I need to find the cost. How do I find the cost? Formula. Cost is markup over markup percent. What was our markup in this case? $6.50. What was our markup percent? 40%. Do I leave it as a percent? No, I convert to a decimal. So what's 650 divided by 0.4? 1625. I now take that right here, and I get a selling price of $22.75. So I've answered their questions because I've got the selling price and I found my cost, which was the two questions they were asking me. So here's some more formulas. How about the rate of selling price? You find that by adding the rate of cost to the rate of markup. So here's the formula. Selling price equals rate of selling price based on cost times cost. We're going to use this for example 7. So example 7 says a camera sells for $439. So we know the selling price, that's S. The markup rate is 60%. So that's markup percent is 60%. Find the cost of the camera and the markup. Round to the nearest cent. Okay, so if I'm trying to find markup, that's selling minus cost. What do I know so far? I know the selling. Selling for $439. I do not know the cost. So that's what I'm out to find. there's a couple steps I need to do before I can find the cost. First of all, to find the cost, the formula is right up here, selling price over selling percent. I do know the selling price, $4.39, but I don't know the selling percent. How do I find that? Selling percent is 100% plus the markup percent. So selling percent in this case is 100% plus markup percent, look above in your word problem, is 60. So what is my selling percent here? 160%. Where does that go? Right here. Do I leave it as a percent? No. Decimal would be 1.6. So answer 274.38. This now will go right here, 274.38. So what is my markup? 164.62. Okay, there's another stop and check. Go ahead and pause the video, click on the stop and check, complete it,